Hey everybody, welcome to this segment of Black Spring. Now, lately we've seen a swath of governors ordering soft shutdowns, social distancing based on the rate of pandemic spread from coast to coast. Now, many of these officials have taken it upon themselves to deem non-essential business closures and much, much more. And many, especially for many patriots and more, are questioning, the type of where can we look to for even historic precedents on these type of draconian measures, specifically during a pandemic in which we have evidence for at least two afflictions. The flu, we have flu statistics as well as the global pandemic statistics. And many recognize right away that the flu statistics outweigh the number of pandemic statistics. So there's a lot of questions, but I'll take you to a story right now in which we have a actual mayor. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. We actually have a mayor that is taking his own measures. So if this is close to home to you, I'd like to welcome you to our very vetted source on Black Spring with Autumn. If you will go with me, this was written on Wednesday, March 25th. L.A. Mayor, close your business or we will shut off your water and power. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti is the official in this particular case. This was written by Luis Miguel. The Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti threatened, quote, non-essential, end quote, businesses, warning them that he will cut off their water and electricity if they fail to heed the city's stay-at-home order. Quote, this behavior is irresponsible and selfish, the mayor said of businesses that remain open. He went on to announce that, quote, business ambassador program, end quote, an effort to get owners of non-essential businesses to close up shop. Upon having their water and power terminated, businesses found in violation of the order will be contacted by neighborhood prosecutors. Quote, the easiest way to avoid a visit is to follow the rules, end quote, Garcetti stated. The briefing came a day after Garcetti announced an order prohibiting evictions and the removal of rental units from the markets. During that briefing, Garcetti called on employees of non-essential businesses that have not yet shut down to report their employees to city officials. Quote, shut it down or we will shut you down, end quote, he said. The mayor also rebuked those who have ignored, quote, social distancing, end quote, recommendations, quote, for those who still haven't heeded the call to stay home, who are not physically distancing, who crowd at beaches and canyons, we know who you are, and this is serious. Stay at home and save lives. As of Tuesday, Los Angeles County had 669 confirmed coronavirus pandemic cases and 11 deaths, while the state has reported 2,566 cases with 51 deaths. California Governor Gavin Newsom announced a statewide lockdown last week. Residents are only to leave their homes for groceries and essential services, while social events and public gatherings are prohibited. Every business deemed, quote, non-essential, end quote, is closed its doors. Quote, everyone is required to stay home except to get food, care for a relative or friend, get necessary health care, or go to an essential job. If you go out, keep at least 6 feet of distance, end quote, the state's website reads. The police department of Chula Vista, California is planning to use drones to break up crowds and perform other coronavirus-related functions amid the public health panic. The department recently purchased two $11,000 drones that will be equipped with speakers and night vision cameras. Quote, we have not traditionally mounted speakers to our drones, but if we need to cover a large area to get an announcement out, or if there were a crowd somewhere that we need to disperse, we could do it without getting police officers involved, said Captain Vern Sally. Quote, the outbreak has changed my view of expanding the program as rapidly as I can, end quote, he added in a statement. Police tried to quell fears that technology would be used to destroy citizens' rights. Quote, police drones will not be used for random patrol to follow or surveil residents about going about their daily routines or invasive tactics which would hinder the freedoms we all enjoy in community, end quote, the statement assured. Despite President Trump's support of the containment measures such as social distancing and his backing of the $6 trillion pandemic stimulus package working its way through Congress, he has in recent days signaled that he wants the country to return to some form of normalcy sooner rather than later. In an interview, the president suggested Easter as a possible date to end lockdowns around the country, saying, quote, I would love to aim it at Easter Sunday, so we're open for churches on Easter Sunday. That would be a beautiful thing. You'll have packed churches all over the country. I think that this will be a beautiful time. Garcetti, however, don't think Los Angeles would be open for business in that, quote, in that short time, end quote. Quote, we won't extend it one day longer than we need to, end quote, the Democrats posted, but emphasized that the, quote, safer at home, end quote, measure had to be followed through. Similarly, Newsom called President Trump's Easter remark, quote, misleading, end quote. Quote, we're trying to bend the curve, but we haven't bent it. The question is, early April, I think would be misleading to represent, at least for California, end quote, he said. In places where states haven't issued stay-at-home orders, some counties are taking it upon themselves to do so. The mayor of Orange County, Florida, announced Tuesday that he would sign an order to go into effect Thursday at 11 p.m. County residents may go out to buy groceries, medicine, and essential supplies. Non-essential businesses must cease their activities. Sheriff Jim Mina warned that people who violate the order could receive $50 citations or up to 50 days in jail. The county's health officer, Dr. Raul Pino, said people must stay at home because people transmit the virus to other people. Quote, the safe assumption is that everyone else has it, end quote, Pino said. If you have a negative, quote, if you have a negative test today, doesn't mean you can't have it tomorrow, end quote. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that is our source on this actual story. So, with that story at hand, one might think that, you know, these officials are just they're taking these draconian measures in the name of the people and public safety. But we can also look to times in which there are other issues or other epidemics in the area that contribute to public health crisis, such as the state of California's homeless crisis, which yields about 109,000 homeless residents in the entire state of California. Not to mention, last fall, the city of Los Angeles, the conditions in which the homeless were living in contributed to a potential typhus yielding outbreak due to the amount of excrement and squander that many of these residents are living in Los Angeles. So it would be interesting that no extreme measures were taken to mitigate the actual homeless crisis in California, yet all of a sudden this opportunity or this pandemic has yielded extreme draconian measures, including the use of drones as surveillance or as a form of communication. So that, to many Americans, it's a bit of concerns. Many patriots in a free society, we do not want our freedoms and liberties subverted or infringed upon. So, are they going too far? Have we suspended the Constitution with these draconian solutions? And why do we have so many officials on both sides of the aisle, well, beyond the left or the Democrat side? We're seeing also the Republican governors and officials making some of the same types of draconian demands and putting these orders in place during this pandemic. So let me know what you think in the comments as always. Let me know what your concerns are. Are we dealing with a welfare state? Are we dealing with a push for nationalization? Are we getting a snapshot as to what Democrat leadership looks like? Or are we getting a snapshot into what one state government looks like? Let me know what you think in the comments. And please, if you can, hit the like button or the unlike button, subscribe, and if you can, share. Please hit that bell for notifications for upcoming panels and much more events on Black Spring with Autumn. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. Have a great Thursday.